And we are about to go live in 3. And here we go again, live from the present show. Here with me, we have usual mindful Pat that is today showing us Wrocław, right? Some part of it at least.
Hello, hello.
And with us as well, there is Elizabeth. Ciao, Elizabeth. Directly from South Africa, actually. Elizabeth, tell us more about you and where you're from, what you're doing, so that we have an idea before digging into your mindfulness world.
Okay, so I'm Elizabeth. Currently today I'm sitting in one of our provinces, Gauteng, in our head offices in Joburg, in one of the meeting groups. I'm a mother of 2, a 16-year-old daughter, almost 16, called Mika, and a little boy called Tegan, 11 years old. I've been with IBM since 2009 in the project management profession, delivery excellence, quality management, risk consulting, and currently fulfilling the role of agile coach in some of our financial industry projects. So that's me in short.
And so the first question I would usually ask in this case is, okay, you were telling me also you deal with consciousness, right? So, and for me it's maybe hard to the mindfulness and consciousness, are they somehow connected? So mindfulness I interpret as the capability of being aware in that moment about what is happening around you through your 6 senses. But in consciousness is the realization I exist. So how they're kind of similar thing, because while I'm mindful, I'm also conscious. I'm mindful, and you should be aware you are sitting or you're thinking. So how do you relate to these 2 concepts?
Okay, so I'm glad you asked that question. So yes, that it's similar in the aspect that both of them is in the now. Okay. Consciousness and mindfulness and consciousness both is clearing your mind of all those voices between the ears, clear it, okay, to acknowledge it for what it is what it is. You're not to think of your thoughts the same way you the talk of your talk or the walk of your walk. And then from there, you go to let's call it a clearing of nothingness in the now, from where you can create who you want to be and what you want to get out of life. So, and consciousness is taking our minds, it's like recording devices. So whenever we're confronted with a problem or an issue, or we need to create something, our mind goes into what we know, what we've recorded over time on past experiences. That is also dented through the lenses you wear. And the lenses could be from the society you grew up into or you're moving in, the assumptions and the beliefs. And consciousness coaching is really just challenging you, like mindfulness, to challenge those assumptions, challenge those belief systems, and really put you on solid ground to create the person you choose to be. And so, in other words, to take you into the realm of you don't know what you don't know. And when you're in that space of you don't know what you don't know, there is where absolute lightness starts, and we absolute blank canvas to start to creating your life as a masterpiece.
Okay, so, but as a coach, how you are helping people to not knowing what they don't know?
No. Yeah. So that's what I love about consciousness coaching, because consciousness coaching says, like, unlike other coaching methods that's out there, we're not only going to work on goals. I want to lose 3 kilograms by in 3 months. No, that's what we not do. So we work on the holistic person. So first of all, in each coaching session, we've got consciousness awareness creations, and like transforming anger into passion, the power of your word, integrity recovery, to act as part of your thinking and feeling. Then we also lead you in a mind shift in the same session. So
Mm-hmm.
it could be a mind shift from depression to lightness, or from victim mood to creator, whatever is going on in your life at that moment. And then we work on creating your specific goals, and we take it a step further. We also work on mental clarity. Okay, again, back to that voices between the ears. See what we can do with those voices between the ears. And then the power of consciousness coaching to me is two aspects that we work on in each coaching session as well. The one is what they call a breakthrough promise.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that is where you're really stuck in your life and you just need to move forward a bit, a breakthrough promise. And the other one, the next one is an insight question or a research question. And that is the tool or the skill that will take you into the space of you didn't know what you didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
So a good
Okay, I understand.
example of a research question would be, in my life, I had a really bad relationship with time. Time controlled me, and I was not in the driving seat when it came to time. And one of the research questions that my coach helped me to create was, what if time is on your side? And the
Okay.
idea of a research question, you should just ask yourself that question, you get an answer. But you don't bind to that answer. And then your mind will run out of answers. And then you come to this space of new possibilities and you didn't know what you didn't know. And that's more or less the essence of consciousness
And
coaching.
how, in this case, mindfulness as a practice helps you to uh, like focus more on what you're calling the voices in your ears, and would help you also to realize more what is effectively happening around you and how people are interacting with you, right? So this could help you to get to a better conscious state, or is it?
Yes, it does.
If I could also add just briefly, I mean, I really like what Elizabeth is saying uh, about the coaching and the voices inside your head, and especially that point with what if time is on your side.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so if you do become more aware of what you're saying, Lele, yourself and the voices in your head, full potential. And this was so many voices inside or in between your ears can you have, and does through consciousness coaching, do you get to the point where you listen to one voice or several voices, or what do you do with those voices, because they seem to be there often.
Yes, yes. So with consciousness coaching, we lead you to a place that you understand that you're not a thinker of your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of being human. It just drops in. It will never, ever, ever stop. Okay. And then with consciousness coaching, and this is the connection to mindfulness. You need to be mindful of those voices between your ears because they can affect your emotion, they can affect your mood, and they can put you on autopilot, and that's how your day is going to pan out. Okay. If you buy into that voices between the
Okay.
ears, because you need to be mindful of them. And then really, consciousness coaching is they've got a brilliant tool. Let me just
Yeah,
stop
somebody
this.
needs to. But at the same time, we were talking about the time as well, right? So time is connected with mindfulness. Is, you spend additional time to be mindful. So that's another, that's a question I got as well.
Yes,
You talk
yes.
about time management, yes, but then you tell me I should spend 1 minute more of my already precious time on my mindfulness. So where the trick is, like, is there something that you know?
Well,
It,
time
it,
is go
if
ahead,
I
Elizabeth.
can, Patrick. Okay, so there's two concepts to this. We should stop thinking we've got a mindful life and an I-beam life and a life for your daddy and a life for your husband. You
Mm-hmm.
have to integrate your life. Your life is an integrated whole. Okay.
Exactly.
And mindfulness is moment to moment. So you can choose in your integrated life to moment be mindful. It could be as simple as when you touch a doorknob or your car doorknob, or your fingers touches your computer for the first time. You're absolutely mindful of that touch in that moment in time. Think, where am I? What is my day going to be about? Moment to moment, that little external touch points. It could even be integrating, let's call it emotional touch points. When you feel that your jaw is getting clenched, that could be maybe indication that emotion, you feel irritated. Yeah, I do that a lot. That's why I look like this and not this. So it's integration. It's not a mindful person, not mindful. You integrate it. And with mindfulness, like any skill in life, it is moment by moment practice until that becomes autopilot. And then you take it to the next level of awareness and mindfulness and consciousness until that becomes autopilot.
So that is also becomes part of our life. So that it's not that we miss time or we dedicate additional time to try to be mindful, but by doing it, we are already mindful during the thing, what we do usually. It's just that because we are more mindful, we actually focus better so that we are better time managers of our time.
And just consider this, any moment in time in your day where you think, oh dear, I'm not mindful, there and then you were mindful.
Yeah, that's the weird part of it. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And what about your daily practice? So if you could say something to who is listening to us, right? So is it your daily practice? Is it like 1 hour meditation, or do you do some mindful minutes during your day? So how does it work?
Yeah. I wish I could meditate, because I can see that people that meditate are so much more calmer. They're so much more mindful and consciousness. So if anyone's out there that can get me to meditate, please, I'll be your guinea pig. So what I do in terms of mindfulness, I do the 4-second breath quite a bit. So really during my day, and I try to use trigger points, again, that jaw being clenched, that's one of my trigger points. I just do my 4-second breath. Really take a very deep breath. And I'm a very visual person, so I imagine that breath and I can see it and I can feel it. Okay, that's what I do mindfully. Sometimes when what I also do on a daily basis, the moment my hands touch my steering wheel of my car, I do a check-in. So I check my mood, I check my physical condition, I check my mental clarity. And the most powerful thing I do then as one on a daily basis, I create a context for my day. So I will say, my day is all going to be about new learning, or my day is going to be about calmness. So I create a context for my day. And every time, and each point during the day, when I find myself not, say, in a context of learning, I'll say, your day is about learning, and I step back into that context. So that's what I do on a daily basis. And then twice a week, what I find that fuel my mind the best this moment, as I do Pilates twice a week, and I don't compromise on that at all. And what I found, mindfulness has helped me in 2 ways in Pilates. Number one, for you to either relax the finest of muscles or to activate a muscle, your brain needs to connect to your body to be able to either relax a muscle, and that's the most difficult part, or to activate a muscle. And in that point in time, in that few split seconds, your mind is still. You're no longer in tune to your voices, so that fuels the mind as well.
That is similar to like what is happening with yoga or this kind of practice, right? That you connect your body and your mind, and by doing a particular posture, you are also mindful about everything, because otherwise you just fall down because you don't have balance. And so on.
Even taking it one step further, as we exercise and the heart rate goes up, or you're pushing yourself to new limits, muscularly or through the nervous system, whatever it is, we tend to get a little anxious and stressed, and no, I'm running out of breath, or whatever it is, and we start panicking a bit. And if you can become mindful of that and learn to relax and to be calm and really only engage, as Elizabeth is saying, the certain muscles or parts of the body, then you'll notice the tremendous impacts you have during your workouts, whatever they may be. Learning to calm the mind, even in the most stressful of situations, is key.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's very interesting. So I understand that your day. So you start the day and you say, okay, today is gonna be about learning, and this is the kind of a label of your day, and this is help you to be consistent throughout the whole day, so that you don't get disturbed by
That's
tasks
really
that
nice.
are not connected. And this is a very nice tip, I would say. In order to be a better time managers, we tend to be distracted. When you are at home, there are kids, people around, mother-in-law, wife, and so on, or yourself and the fridge or whoever. When you are at the office, there are people coming to your desk. And if you learn to avoid all this, you can at least focus
So,
on certain tasks, right?
it's more a case of being than a case of doing. So if I again take the example, if I've created that my day to day is going to be about learning, and I sit in a meeting where I totally disagree with one of my colleagues or even my customer, then I'm mindful of my context of the day. And I'll just remind myself, okay, listen to his or her point of view, because today your day is about learning. And just by, in consciousness coaching, we call it the power of the word, okay? And with the power of the word, it's your words creates your context for the day,
Okay.
but you must also be in action of it. So if I say my day is going to be about learning, already I'm stepping into that concept. My brain is already thinking, okay, today is going to be about learning. Let's do this, okay? It's almost like, can I use the word, you almost bullshit your brain? Okay, that's how powerful the brain is. You tell the brain today it's going to be about learning. Your brain believes, okay? And that's the context of the flow you get into. But then I'm also in action of it, and there's where mindfulness come in. So I'm so mindful of my context, where I find myself that I'm no longer in the context of learning, I just pull myself back. So that's just one of the examples. And taking back to you talking about your children. So if your kids come there and all of them start talking simultaneously, the one is dragging your left arm, the other one is dragging your right arm, go back into the context. Today, my day is about learning. And you learn from that. And in that, for example, you can learn the excitement or the innocence of a 2 or 5-year-old. For example.
So that's for mindful fathers of mindful mothers, that they would like to to bring some consciousness coaching into so basically if I understood well, so when I deal with my kids or we deal with that, we take care. Now it's time for learning, and whatever else they try to do, we still keep to the learning side, right? They start playing, they start doing something else. No, that's the moment for learning. So that's
Well, even if they don't want to learn, that's still a learning experience.
Exactly.
Yes. So you're open to whatever is happening, even if the context is going against everything that you intended, right? So today's about being calm, for example, and everything is just super stressed, but you still learn how to be calm, right? If it's about learning and no learning's happening, that's still learning. Yeah.
Because in that
Whatever
moment,
comes.
yeah. So and another thing, while we're on this topic, and again, it takes me back to my children as well. Everything in life, we've got a tremendous human power to choose how we want to experience it. How do I want to experience this chat session of the two of you? How do you want to experience your 2-year-old and your 5-year-old screaming and dragging in different directions? You have got an absolute powerful human choice how you want to experience it. If you're in an exceptionally difficult meeting with your customer as well, you've got a brain power or the consciousness power to choose in that moment how you want to experience it and relate to it. And I think that's why, for me, creating my context for my day is almost like creating a big container in which I step into. But within that big container or the framework, I still have the power, moment by moment, to choose how I want to experience a specific person or area or any specific event.
And I would keep going talking with you the whole day, actually, Elizabeth. But I'm mindful also about the time for the present show, and as usual. But I would like as well to talk about consciousness and these topics another time in the show. So I again renovate the invitation for you to come another time. But can we do? You are telling me that this is part of your daily practice is visualizing your breath and so on. That's time for a mindful minute. Would you like to run it for us?
Yes, let's do that. So and this one I've learned from Patrick. So okay, relax.
Okay.
Okay, put your feet on the floor, hands on the table, wherever you are. Just feel it. Feel that sensation. Either open your eyes or keep it closed, just the way you want to. And now just take a very deep breath, 4 seconds in. Visualize your breath. Give it a picture and feel it. Feel the heat. And out. See it and feel it the whole time, and in for 4 seconds. And out, and that's 4 seconds. That's all it takes. And you can even do it in a meeting with your customers.
And this is not only calming you down, but allowing you to get to the point, to the focus, and to your mindful state. So thanks a lot, Elizabeth, for coming. Precious time, but you're always the last of the words for our present show. So that's yours.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Elizabeth, Lele. The
Okay,
power of
thank you.
consciousness.
Yes.
Is the power of consciousness. Thank you, and
Okay.
bye bye.